Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gory Wolf, and today we are going to be doing something that I find to be a little interesting. So I have Snapchat, so I thought that it would be kind of interesting if I recreated a Snapchat filter makeup on my face. I obviously won't be doing the hair piece or whatever you want to call it, but I will be doing the makeup portion of it. And I guess we shall see where this goes and if it looks anything like the filter. So I have chosen one of the Bare filters they have. I'll put it in the corner. So I've chosen that look for today, and I thought that I would try to recreate it. So I've already gone ahead and primed my face and put my foundation on. So that is done and out of the way. So that way we can get right into the eyeshadow. So I'm going to be using my nude eyeshadow palette. And alright, so to start off the look, I think I'm going to kind of find a color match for that peachy color that is in the outer corner of the eye. I think I'm going to actually do a combination of these two colors on the outer corner, and if it's not dark enough, I think I actually might add a little bit of this more mahogany color. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with my blurring brush, and I'm going to first I'm going to go ahead and start by applying this color, this lighter of the two colors, down before I go and darken it up with the other color. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and it looks like there's quite a drastic line. It's not a soft look, it's a more drastic, straight, angled line. So we're going to go ahead and just tap on the color in slow bits at a time, angle it out as you tap it on. It does look like it is a little blended out on the top, but not too much. It kind of does look very not blended here. It's not very blended there. So we're going to try, I feel like it'll look better if it's blended out, so we're going to do that just so that way it looks a little more natural and not like somebody stamped the color on your face. Alright, now that I have the sort of base color down for the outer corner, I'm going to go ahead and start putting on the slightly darker color, this darker of the two colors right here. I'm going to go in with this one. And I'm just going to lighten up on the lid, not quite all the way out, but just the tiniest bit in the corner of my lid. Just slightly tapping the color on, not pushing too hard, just to darken it just the slightest bit. Alright, I'm gonna also go ahead and go in with this shade, just a tiny bit of that shade, not a whole lot, and I'm actually going to use a fluffy brush so that way I'm not packing too much onto it. So I'm going in with this, more like a grape color, lightly dusting it onto the brush, tapping quite a bit of it off, and lightly going in that same spot where the other color was. Now I'm going to go in with my other fluffy brush and kind of just flick the color off to try to get the excess off, because that is a little too dark. just light flicking motions is what I'm doing. Just light flicking motions to get some of that excess off. I'm also going to go ahead and go back in with my blurring brush and pack on a little bit of that lighter color just to try and lighten it up a little bit. I'm also going to kind of work that line a little bit just to make sure that I can see a line for when I go in and clean it up. Alright, I think that is what we're going to go for that outer corner look. Now, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of other color other than that just slight shadow to it. So I think the rest of the lid for the most part is going to be that same peachy color that we used, the very first color that we used. And that I think is going to go for the most part all over the lid except for the very inner corner, which seems to be a little bit lighter than the rest of the lid. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the rest of the lid with that light peachy color that we used first. And it's okay to overlap a little bit so that way it blends and it looks nicer. Alright, now that I've done that, I'm going to go in with the lighter, not the lightest, but the lighter shade on this side of the palette, this light soft color, and that is going to be packed into the very inner corner, and then I think I'll also pop a little bit of shimmer on there as well, probably a little bit of highlight. So I'm going to go ahead and go in, get quite a bit of that, and just pack it to that inner corner and blend it out a little bit. Kind of lightening that inner corner quite a bit. Now I'm going to go in with my fluffy brush. The one that is a bit more loose, that's not quite as firm as the other one. So the light fluff to it. And I'm going to blend this line out a little bit. See, now as you can see, it's a little more soft and it kind of gradually fades into the skin. I'm still not quite liking how dark that outer corner is, so I'm going to go ahead and pack that color that we used on the inner corner. Not a whole lot. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush just to make sure that I don't overdo it. But the slightly firm, the more firm out of my two fluffy brushes, I'm going to go in with. Alright, now that I have the eyeshadow down, it looks like there's a slight bit of eyeliner on as well as some lashes. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the eyeliner. It looks like there's a very, very tiny wing to the liner. And I'm going to go in with this color on the outer portion of my lower lash line, and then this lighter color on the inner corner of my lower lash line. And I'm just going to kind of smoke it a little bit, and then I'll clean it up with my foundation. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and, I think before I do the liner, I'm going to go ahead and clean this line up just a little bit with my foundation and beauty blender. Actually, I think I'm going to use an angled brush for this. Yeah, I'll use an angle brush. So I'm going to go in with my foundation, put a little bit, maybe, yeah, a little bit on the back of my hand. And I'm going to use my angle brush, tap it on the ends of my angle brush, and I'm going to draw a line from my lower lash line up. There, that cleaned it up a little bit. And that cleaned it up. I'm gonna go ahead and go in. With my bigger smudge brush. And I'm gonna kind of put just the slightest bit of color, just to kind of connect my lower lash line and my line just a little bit. And I'm gonna use that peachy color again. I'm just gonna lightly smudge that line a little. Also, I apologize for all the background noise. There's been quite a bit going on around my house recently. So, I apologize for all the background noise you may be hearing. Alright, now that I've got the eyeshadow done, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the liner. So I think I'm actually not going to use a liquid liner, and I think I'm going to use my angled brush, maybe. I'm not the best at making winged liner or eyeliner in general with a brush, so this may be interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my angled brush. So now that I have my pigment on my my angled brush, I'm going to go ahead and start like I would with my liquid liner, and I'll start right in the center, lightly drag it, alright, now that I have my tiny little wing, I'm going to go ahead and try to fade it to my inner corner just a bit, so that way it looks a bit more natural. Like so. And it's more of a charcoaly color, so that way it kind of blends in with the lashes I'll put on at the end. So now that I have this eye done, well, not quite done, but I think it looks like it's a little shimmery, so I'm going to use one of my lovely shimmers. I think I'm gonna go for the lighter of the two shimmers, which I think is gonna be this one, and this is Honeysuckle by LA Colors, and it's just gonna go on that inner corner. Ooh. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm going to put a little bit more because it's a little hard to see, but the shimmer that is there is pretty. I wouldn't mind using this as a highlighter, honestly. It's a pretty color. gonna go ahead and go off camera and do this eye. And then I'll see you when I get back. Alright guys, I'm back. And I finished my eyeshadow. And I also did my eyebrows off camera just to save a little bit more time. In the filter, they do look a little bit darker than my natural hair color. So I tried to do them a little darker, but I hate having really dark eyebrows. So I just did them darker than I normally would, but not so dark that I'm like, yikes. If you would like to see a video on how to do false lashes, I can definitely do that for you guys. I have a few little tips and tricks on how to do them. So now that I have my eyes done, we can go ahead and move on. So I think in the picture it looks like there's not a whole lot of blush. There's a slight little bit of blush, but there's also, it looks like, a ton of highlight. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on a little bit of blush, not a whole lot, because it doesn't look like there's a whole lot, but it also looks like it's kind of a little lower than I would normally put my blush. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my blush, tap it off, and I'm gonna lightly just try and get a little bit of color. Like that. So there's just a slight hue of pink to her skin, to my skin on the filter. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my highlight palette, and it looks like they're using like a cool tone highlight. I'm not gonna use the blue highlight, but I am gonna try and use this lighter blue color. It's not quite blue, but it's not quite white either. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. I'm going to highlight the crap out of my cheeks. But again, not a whole lot. Okay, there's quite a bit of highlight on the nose. And it looks like on the forehead as well. Alright. It also looks like there's a little bit on the chin. Not as much as the rest of the face, but just a little bit. And it looks like there is a little bit under the brow bone too. Right under the brow, I should say. So to do that, I actually don't use the fan brush. I actually use my angle brush. So I need to wipe off my angle brush. Hold on. Alright, so I'm going to dip into this, just scraping the surface so light and tapping off quite a bit. Then I'm just going to lightly take it and go right under the brow, like so. Do the same thing on the other side. And if you wanted to, you could kind of take your fingers and kind of just lightly, I got a bit of lash glue on my finger, just lightly kind of take a little bit of the excess off if you wanted to. And that is it for the highlights. And I also think that, hang on, let me double check. Oh, lips, right. I almost forgot the lips. Okay, so for the lips, it's a very peachy color, kind of similar to the eyes, but not quite that color. So for the lips, I'm actually going to go in with my flower color. I actually learned the shade, and the shade is Peachy Nude. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually not going to line my lips because on the filter it doesn't look like the lips are lined at all. So I'm going to go ahead and just go in with my lipstick. Alright, now that I have the color down, I'm going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit. Oops. Crap. It looks like it does take the corners in a little bit. Alright, now that I've cleaned it up around the edges, I'm going to take my angled brush, and I'm going to go back in with my highlighter and highlight my Cupid's bow. So I'm going to take it and just lightly highlight and highlight it. Okay, so now that I've done that, I believe that is the final look, and I will put on setting spray once I'm done. So that was today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and this is today's look. So if there are any other things that you would like to see, maybe some other Snapchat filters, whatever have you, that you want to see in the future, don't be afraid to comment down below and tell me what you guys want to see. So that way I can give you content that you would like to see, and it'll be fun for both me and you. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will also link my social media down below. You can also contact me there if there are any other videos, ideas, questions you have. You can contact me there. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next video. And always remember, stay safe out there. Bye!